1340 KVGC, back after popular demand, or back after, I don't know, you think people missed us that much, Douglas, there's a demand for us to come back and be on the air?
I've had some requests, people asking where we've been, what's up with that, so, yeah, I think so. There's a smidgen of people, let's hope, anyway.
Okay, here we go. Back by popular demand. After a few weeks on hiatus, welcome to Douglas Viviani of Everything Old is New Again.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Is it too late to say that? When is it too late to say Happy New Year?
Well, I'll tell you what. You may not know about this, but after we get off the air, I want you to Google it. Google Serbian Christmas in America or Shotguns in Jackson or whatever. We have, in Jackson, we have the oldest Serbian Orthodox church in the Western Hemisphere. And the Serbians were a big part of the mining operation here, the Serbs that came over. And so they are on the Gregorian calendar, which is celebrating Christmas 13 days late. So every year we celebrate Christmas. Jackson is known as the town of two Christmases. So we celebrate Christmas again on the 7th. Like all the Christmas decorations are up. Christmas decorations just started coming down like in the cities yesterday, maybe Tuesday or so. Our tree is still up here in the studio. We'll take it down this weekend. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Okay.
so go. And in fact, there's a pretty famous one with Jimmy Fallon, and he talks about, but anyway, Google Jackson, Serbian Christmas, shotguns because it's a tradition that it was back in the old country in the old days. To see when the Turks kind of conquered Serbia, they wouldn't let them celebrate their religion. Well, what they would do is they would shoot their shotguns off in the hills to just kind of, thumb their noses at the Turks.
Right.
But also what it did was it signaled that my house is open, come have a party at my house. And so there are house parties throughout town here. We go from one house to another house and end up at someone's house for a big one for like 500 people.
Along those lines, along that theory, then I guess Happy New Year. You probably celebrate New Year's once a month then. So I can say Happy New Year whenever I get online. We're in good shape.
No, there's only one. There's only one Serbian New Year's, and that's on January 1st. So
hopefully you had some fun. We have some odd traditions that I do in our house here on Resurrecting. When I was a kid, my parents always had the home parties. Everybody goes out now and to all these, these catering halls, and they've got these big lavish affairs. But back in the day, it was pigs in a blanket, and the parents would bring the pigs in a blanket upstairs to us while we were watching all the neighborhood kids and all get together. We'd watch either that or down the basement. We'd watch Mad World. You remember that movie?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why they played that all the time. That was like a New Year's treat. And there was no on demand or anything like that. So watching all these characters chase through California over after the money, Spencer Tracy, Sid Caesar, Ethel Merman, Phil Silvers, I don't know, Milton Berle, just a favorite of mine. So that's something that we're trying to, believe it or not, these odd traditions. We played that this year, and kids got a kick out of that.
Do you ever think that, do you ever sit back and wonder who will be or will there be Spencer Tracy's, Jonathan Winters, Sid Caesars, Milton Berle's? Who are the Phil Silvers of our children's generation?
I know it's and that's what's so interesting about Everything Old is New Again on some level, because we actually piece by piece, little by little, we look at little pieces of the entertainment genre of today and look and see why it's so popular, from today and where it came from. And we try to have some fun with the radio, and a lot of these fellows came from radio. They had so much experience back in the day, and then they did so many shows. Then they had that experience they brought to TV, and then thereafter to the movies. So they were household names for 20, 30 years. And then got a movie like this, a compilation movie. They all get together, and I don't know that our entertainers have that much. Believe it or not, it sounds weird, experience, because they didn't do the radio for so often, so therefore didn't perform as much. The TV shows, if you're on a TV show for 22 episodes in the year, that's pretty much it, maybe even less. Live performing doesn't seem to be, especially comedy, doesn't seem to be as popular as it was. So I don't know. What do you think?
You know, you and I talked about this. This is kind of off the subject, but I think we touched on this in one of our little talks here. Remember just, I do. I can remember just waiting for the September TV preview, TV guide to come out. Remember that? Remember that?
You would plan. This is odd now to think about it, but they would have, day by day, they would tell you with pictures and articles and reviews of what shows were going to be on, at least from 8 to 11, the national programming, and what they were about, and you would actually plan for the next, 4 or 5 months what you're going to be, on Thursday nights, this is what I'm going to watch. Again, there was no taping, nothing. It was can't miss TV, so you had to really plan it out, It was special.
We used to, at one of the stations I worked at, I would bring the TV guide in when it came, and we would do the crossword puzzle, but you could only do it in pencil because you had to erase it, and then the next person could do it. Remember the crossword puzzle that used to be in the back of the TV guide? But hey, will there be? I don't know. I mean, with I didn't see it first run. I'm waiting. It's coming out on Tuesday, and I'll probably watch it at home on demand. Maybe go to the Redbox and rent it. But Straight Outta Compton, okay? That kind of got snubbed by the Academy, and really, Douglas. I mean, it's not my generation, but it is JD's generation, and will he be sitting around when he's 50 years old, 60 years old? Will the oldies stations be playing Snoop Dogg and Dre and NWA and all? I mean, will they be playing that stuff, or
well, and all those characters be touring? I mean, look at the Rolling Stones. They're still going to be touring this summer coming up. Rod Stewart, 71. He just turned 71. He's touring like crazy. McCartney's out and about. So, I would assume towards the end of their run, but that's 40, 50 years of touring, and 40, 50 years later, they're still around. Is Justin Bieber going to be doing that? I don't think so.
I hope not. Hey, we should have a moment of silence for Professor Snape today on this show.
He was great. Alan Rickman, and he also it was one of my favorite movies, of course, Galaxy Quest, if you saw that.
Oh, yeah. We have that, actually. We switched from, which was a big mistake, folks. We went from Dish, who we had for 20 years, to Direct, because they're owned by AT&T now, and you're going to bundle and save. We didn't save, okay? Right. Don't do it, folks. I'll take on AT&T. Don't do it. We had Galaxy Quest saved on our DVR, and when we switched, you can't transfer the shows, of course. Well, boom, there it popped up. So my son Jake recorded it, so now we have that. We can watch it. They love it. I don't know. I watch it 2 or 3 times, and it's okay. But, that's a good one.
Also, the evil villain in that Bruce Willis movie.
Oh, yeah.
With the building,
Yeah, Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
Die Hard.
And he played with Kevin Costner. He was in...
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. I thought he was really good in that, too. What a great... one of those character actors, that you just... You may not know his name, but you know his face, And I just... it's a shame. Died of cancer, 69. Way too young.
I was on vacation last week, and I want to talk to you about this because a little Star Wars tie-in here to this, but we were in the hotel room one night. We were watching one of the Harry Potter movies, and David Tennant was in it, and it was just before he became the Doctor.
Yes.
Okay, just before. He was Barty Crouch Jr. But we're watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, will this die now with my kids? And so I said, what do you guys think? You think Harry Potter's over? Boom. Everybody in the room. No, there's a new generation. It's more popular now than it was. And, Universal has the Harry Potter land. Universal Studios in L.A. is coming out next year. I think this spring, actually, with Harry Potter land. So,
and they're coming out with a prequel. Eddie Romaine, I think is his name. The fellow was in Rent, and he was a couple of recent movies nominated for Academy Award. He's going to be, I think it's that fellow Riddle. Anyway, he's going to be a prequel. So they started that up again.
Yeah, he was like you say, 69 years old, died of cancer. Alan
Yeah,
Rickman.
way too young these days,
So anyway, Star Wars. Have you seen the new Star Wars movie?
I have seen the new Star Wars movie. It's just like I think I'm continuing the tradition of Parent of the Year. As you remember, way back when I was labeled that by you, taking my little 6-year-old to Jurassic Park. I took her with her uncle, my brother, and also with her grandfather. So all four of us went to go see the Star Wars premiere. I wanted to make it some kind of a nice, memorable event. If you remember things at 6, I don't know, but she loved it. I think it was very well done. Typical J.J. Abrams, great action, little short on story, very predictable what happens, in my view, what happens to Han Solo. I'm not going to give anything away, but a great, chapter in the serial, if we call it that, of Star Wars, the 7th episode. I'm definitely looking forward to the next 2, which will be different directors, and a continuation of this story. I enjoy it. It's a nice, fun, just, thoughtless time at the movies, like way back when people used to watch the serials, these 20, 30-minute little episodes of, let's say, Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon before the movie started. People don't remember that, but it just kind of fun. They didn't get into too much philosophy. Didn't get into too much deep discussion about why all this is happening. Let's hope they get into that in the next couple of movies. What do you think?
Well, I don't want to steal the thunder here, but actually, really a true example of everything old is new again. I mean, we talked about this. I saw it when I was sophomore in college. When did it come out? 77.
Yes.
77. So I would have been a junior. I remember waiting in line, me and Ed Canberra, to go see it. And now, we were in Disneyland last week. And Disney, owns the franchise now, or is in partnership with the franchise, however that works. I'll tell you what a marketing machine, what a merchandising machine. Every kid running through Disney had, they still have Disney ears, but now you can get CP3O ears, you can get Darth Vader ears. Everybody has a lightsaber. You can sure see.
It's made $2 billion alone, just the movie, and it's just the machine has just started, as you just said. They've got a lot planned for the next couple of years. You're even going to do a Han Solo prequel movie. They're just casting that now, so they're on board. They're going to be inundating us with that. The fans have wanted that and desired that for so long. I don't know if it's going to be too much, but get ready, fasten the seatbelt, because you're going back to space over and over again for the next at least 10 years, I bet. And that's going to go. And this is why I say everything old is new again.
You're right. I mean, that's what I was getting to. Also with Star Wars, right. Here was I watched it. Now your kids. Your son, will grow up with Star Wars again. So
yeah, and I think it's great as long as they add, new flavor to it, new elements, you just try to improve it, not just redo it over again. It could be well done and enjoyed through and through, and I think that's where our entertainment is at this point. If you got one great idea, why stop with the one movie? Let's continue it, and as long as the quality is there, like they did with Star Trek, it's 50 years on Star Trek, and 750 hours of broadcasting at this point, and they're doing a new TV series coming up next year. So I don't think it's something to be. It can't be taken in a negative way. It's just a rehash. If they don't rehash, they continue to grow on the ideas. Yeah. It's great fun for all.
Hey, Douglas, I want you to give me Barbecue Guy's address. I'm going to send him a bottle of Amador County Zinfandel. He was rambling off all these wines, and I know he didn't know any of them, what he was talking about. Because a guy like that knows probably like Miller, Bud, Coors,
He was trying to endear himself last week with
Fondue Guy.
I don't know if you heard all of that, but they started off pretty rough. The Fondue Guy is much more refined than Barbecue Guy. They were doing the third installment of the best of, and then towards the end of the show, they got along because they were having the arguments you love to have, and you can't help but get along when you fight about these things. And he was starting to mention some wines to try to endear himself to Fondue Guy. I don't know. I mean, I could see the address. He could try some out.
When he said Beaujolais or something like that, he lost me. I was like, what? What's he doing there? Looking at the wine list on some
Well,
restaurant.
it could have been his accent too.
Maybe that's what it was. That's
He's
what
got
it was.
it.
And then Fondue Guy kind of threw the gauntlet down here. Well, between David and I have no hate on David.
He was like, let's see, Fondue Guy's more or less like the seconds. Those days of yesteryear when the fellas that would sword fight and all of that, they would have their underling come and set up the fight. So he was setting up the fight of trivia game contest with you, I think, because there was some clips there that were going over of our morning interviews, and they were having some fun. So maybe we'll have to set up a time when we let the challenge continue.
Sure. Hey, I've got to, speaking of morning, I've got to get to the morning news here. What's up this week's show?
This week we continue our discussion of pop culture with the look at Frankenstein. It just goes on and on. 200 years later, this year alone, there was I, Frankenstein. There was Hotel Transylvania 2. Victor Frankenstein was released with the Harry Potter star in it. Not really that successful, but they were released. And why is this 200-year-old monster still being risen from the dead? And why is it so fascinating? There's just no killing this Mary Shelley's creation. We're going to have some fun at it. 2 weeks we're going to talk about Frankenstein, believe it or not.
There is no killing. Everything old is new again. Either. It's alive! It's alive! Anyway,
Perfect.
Douglas Viviani and David Cohn every Saturday night, 6 o'clock. Repeat on Sunday at 6 right here on 1340 KVGC. Douglas, if you see Barbecue Guy, you tell him expect a bottle of wine in the mail.
Sounds great. He's going to look forward to it.